Okay, go.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Melissa from Humanistic HR. I thought I'd have a chat to you today about something slightly different about my business because I've given my presentation a couple of times. But we'll start by doing a little bit of an introduction of who I am. So most of you have met my husband Jake, who's come along a couple of times. We have been on the coast for 4 and a bit years now, lived in Melbourne prior, but we really love living on the coast because of the climate, the lifestyle. It's quite different from what we had before in Melbourne. We're able to get out camping 9 months of the year rather than 3, and it's a really lovely place for a teenager to grow up on the coast. So we've got a couple of silly fluffy dogs who recently got a home haircut and don't look quite as cute as that anymore. We've decided that we're going to stick to our day jobs from here on in. You can see we sort of quite like getting out and about on the weekends. I started Humanistic HR when I came to the coast. I had a career in leadership and HR in Australia for more decades than I care to quote you, before I moved up here, and I saw an opportunity in the market that there weren't a lot of organisations that supported small and medium-sized growing businesses, and there was a lot of those businesses on the Gold Coast. And I just thought there's probably an opportunity for businesses to gain access to some assistance around how to grow in a really practical, sustainable manner that gets your people on side and knowing how to do the best thing for you. Quick question. Did any of you start your business because you're an expert leader? No. No? Yes? Yes. Good. That's good. Very few people would say yes to that. We've come across an enormous amount of people who have started their businesses because they're experts in their field. They're really good at whatever technical skill they've got, and they thought, I can do something different in the market and I'm going to run my own business. And then they come across needing to grow. And as a lot of people in this room will tell you, there's 2 things you need to grow your business. One is really good, streamlined, simple, clear and repeatable processes that are in place and that can be managed all the way through. The other thing is people. And leading people is a skill, and it's something that everyone can learn, and some people are blessed with having a natural ability as leaders, but it's important to know that that's a set of skills that not everyone has. And we come across people time and time again that say, I don't know why my business isn't growing, and throughout a conversation it's pretty easy to work out that actually it's them. They're the reason the business isn't growing, and it's not for lack of good intent, it's just a lack of leadership skills and ability. So we spend a lot of time working with organisations in the leadership space. My business is a HR consultancy. I have a team of people that work with me who have worked in the HR field for a long time. We don't employ anyone that is currently a student. We don't have free interns. We don't have people that don't have experience, and that's not because we don't support people in fostering a career in our profession. We do that in other ways. It's because our clients need more than that. Our clients need people that understand how to do things. The difference that we offer, and I'll talk to that later, is the how. So in an organisation, what you'll find, I'm sure I'm not telling you guys anything new, is that in order to grow, what will happen is someone will have a business and they'll be doing really well, and they'll decide, I'm going to take on a team member. Now I'm going to grow my business. And they'll take someone on, and then that'll be really tricky, so they'll get rid of them and go back to one, and then they'll sort of scratch their head and think, no, I do want to grow again. So they'll take on a couple more people, and they'll either keep going back and forth in this yo-yo from sort of 1 to 3 employees to none, to 1 to 3 employees to none, or they'll keep growing. 1 employee, 5 employees, 15 employees, 500 employees, 2,000 employees. And that's off the back of processes and people leadership. So the space that in Humanistic HR we tend to operate in is we come from the angle of leadership coaching. We operate a full service, so we will absolutely help you get your compliance in track. We will absolutely make sure that you have good streamlined processes that are simple and easy for you to do, but we will work with your leadership team and you to help you to develop your leadership skills so that you're setting your people up for success, so that you're getting really good return on investment for one of the most expensive investments that's recurring in your business. And we'll help you look at the data. So understand what your people metrics are telling you and what that means in relation to the decisions that you need to make. These are very common things that come up in our business, that when we partner with our clients, we'll be able to tell you the answer to most of these questions, and we'll be able to teach you to understand how to find the answers to these questions. So these are all of the things that can actually get in the way of your business growing if you don't know what your people metrics are. And a lot of really small businesses would say, oh, but I don't need to know what staff morale is costing me. I've only got 4 staff. Actually, that can be the difference between a profit and a loss. So if your team isn't functioning particularly well, if tricky conversations are being overlooked because you're just not comfortable to step into that, then the problem is going to grow and get bigger and bigger. And what we do is we come in and we work with you and we say, hey, look, let's have this conversation. This is probably where your problem sits. We'll talk to your people. We'll coach you in having a good conversation with your team members. We'll help you to understand what you can say, what you perhaps might not want to say, and how to go about things. So these are all things that I would argue anyone with any number of team members wants to know in their business at any point in time. I love it, infinity loop. One of the things that we play, the space that we play in, is around helping organisational leaders and business owners to understand that every business wants to know that their clients are having a really good experience, that their clients are happy with the service that they're receiving, and that they will continue on with your business. They'll continue to purchase from you. And the key to that is making sure that your employees have a good experience, because your employees are the ones that your customers are interacting with. There's an enormous amount of studies that are in place now that show organisations that don't treat their staff very well and how that flows through to the experience that a customer has. And what we tend to do is we tend to work with our clients to help them to understand how to communicate, what information to share, how to set their employees up so that their employees will then replicate that experience and it flows through to the customer experience. My husband has a career in customer retention, and we often laugh at how funny it is because really the two are very mirrored. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Humanistic HR difference, because what I've realised, I haven't been in business now for a couple of years, is that I've intuitively set up an organisation that has quite a different business model to what is commonly offered in little HR consultancies. So you can join up to a membership, an annual membership, and you'll get a lot of templates and advice, often from people who are students or interns, and they're Googling the advice. So they'll tell you the what. They'll say, oh, the Fair Work Act says that you need to comply with this law or this policy. What Humanistic HR does is we tell you how. So yes, there's the what. You can Google that. I can send you links to the Fair Work Act, to all of the modern awards. You can find that out yourself. But what we do is we tell you the what, but then also the how, because the how can be what cripples you from a profitability perspective. So an example would be the right to disconnect was a recent change that came in across Australia, and it was rolled out to large organisations and then to small organisations. Every single one of our retained clients has a different policy around the right to disconnect, because we've worked with them and figured out how can they comply with that but still be operationally feasible and run a profit. So how can that apply in their business? And we do that through taking great care into understanding the dynamics of their organisation and what their tensions are and how they need to comply with that. And then we find the sweet spot of the way through for them and then put that in place. So that's the difference in the service that we offer, and we partner with your organisation. So we tend to not have transactional engagements and arrangements with our clients. We have a long-term ongoing arrangement where we gain great insight into your business, we understand how things work, and then we can provide you with better advice. Cool. The services that we offer, I've got another slide afterwards that goes through sort of in greater detail the breadth and extent of what we do, but essentially we've got a couple of retained programs. One is your HR Essentials, which is quite a light touch package, still offering the partnership and the what and the how for smaller businesses. For larger organisations, we can become their outsourced HR team, so we become a part of the function, and we have different tiers and layers of support that they get. So they'll get access to senior organisational strategic advice, as well as HR advice, as well as OH&S support and HR admin. We also do leadership coaching. We work with large HR teams doing strategic projects. We run strategic planning sessions with organisational boards, with executive teams, and then we translate that all the way through into KPIs for all of the team members. We regularly run culture programs, so it might be an organisation that we work with, and they could have a particular team that's got something funky going on, and we go in there, we figure out what's going on and how to potentially remedy it. Then we work through with the team around providing solutions. So hopefully you're sort of getting a bit of a theme here that we don't have a program that we then spruik and sell generically. We kind of come in and work in a really partnered and aligned way. For those of you who have spectacles, pop them on. We do, so anything from the employee of the life cycle, we touch on all elements of it except for recruitment. We have an expert already here in the room today. But what we tend to do is we work with our clients to work out what they want. So once they decide that they want to join with us, we work out from this sort of menu of things, what makes sense for their business right now? What do they actually need for the forthcoming year? What's the most applicable for them? And for some businesses it might be, oh gosh, I have 5 employees, they're all casuals, and now we've got 25 employees, a really solid client base. So we're transitioning their workforce model over to a lower cost based, higher reliability and retention based, so move them across into a different model. We do all of the culture aspects that wrap around that and make sure that their retention's good, and we're always looking at the data for them to help them to make informed decisions. Oftentimes leaders will come to us and they'll say, I don't know what I can say, I don't know what I can't say. I'm really struggling to make this decision, I'm quite lonely, can I bounce this idea off you? And so we work with them around that a lot as well. I've got here what our ideal referrals are. So really it's any business that wants to invest in their people and to grow, knowing that they've got the right frameworks in place. We are not fans of red tape and rules. We try to break everything ourselves. If you give us a rule, we'll try and work around it. So we follow that through with all of our clients. We don't wrap you up in bureaucracy. We give you just enough for what you need at that point in time for your business to make sure that you're compliant and also able to grow. We're looking for clients who want to invest proactively. So we don't really, we are very happy to help from time to time when someone gets into a right pickle, but we actually prefer to work with clients that want to invest in having good people programs proactively. And finally, I just wanted to end with a question. So my top tip, it's not a question, it's a top tip. The key to everything in growing a business and in leading people and being in a good organisational leadership is relationships. Mm-hmm. So if you have good relationships, if you look everyone in the eye, you know who they are, you have the tough conversations, you have the supportive conversations, you'll absolutely thrive. You don't need HR if you're going to do that. That's the bit that people find tricky. Thank you.